Under decimals, if you will, I'm pretty sure we've talked about this, so this will be relatively short and mostly to the point. The book calls us writing equal decimal numbers or equivalent decimals. And that just means this. If you had the decimal 0.7, I can write a bazillion decimal numbers that would mean the exact same thing as 0.7 by doing what? Keith?
Adding 0 to the end.
Right. So 0.7 is the same thing as 0.70 is the same thing as 0.700. Even though they are the same, though, children, I know this will completely amaze and astonish both you and your friends. Even though they mean the exact same thing, we have to say them differently, though. For example, this one is said 7/10. This one is said 70/100, and this one is said 700,000. Or, since you were so excited about that, let's go one more. What would this one be? 7,000.
1,000.
10,000s. Isn't it funny how, see how this is, you say this as 700, and then the decimal after it is thousands. This you say 7,000s, and the decimal would be the next unit measurement over 10,000s. And this one, children, believe it or not, 70,000 100,000s. Or, might as well do it because somebody said it. 700,000 millions. Okay? But in math, unless you're asked to write it in hundreds, or another way that math people say that is they will say write using 2 decimal places. Unless you're told to do this, we always write it like this. Okay? Because I don't want to sit there and try to think about what 700,000 millionths is. You know, if somebody tells me I want 700,000 millionths of a piece of pizza, or a pizza, I don't want to try to figure out what that is when it's really just 7/10 of a pizza. Okay, if I cut a pizza into 10 pieces and I want 7 of them, you know, I want to say, give me 7/10 of it. I don't want somebody to tell me to give me 700,000 millionths of the pizza because if you want to confuse your parents, go ahead and do this. Just like with money, because we have our money, we do it tenths. You know, usually you don't say the candy bar cost me 0.8 of a cent because we always talk about money in terms of pennies or whatever. That's why we always write it with 2 decimal places, okay, and it is 80 cents, or I guess that's all we say it is, 80 cents. And the book makes a point of this. Please make sure, in money, by the way, this is one of Ms. Shung's kind of pet peeves. I think we talked about this before, maybe. You know, if, let's say, you're buying a candy bar, let's make it a what? Snickers that really satisfies. Nobody likes chocolate anymore. And this candy bar is supposed to cost 50 cents. Please make sure when you make the price tag for it, you don't mix cents and dollars, because sometimes you'll go to a store even, or a place, and you'll see this. Okay, why is that wrong? Anybody? And people go, well, that's not wrong. Oh, it's very much wrong. You're mixing decimals and cents, which you really can't do, because Brianna, why is that wrong? Yeah, what you're actually telling somebody is this is 50 hundredths of 1 cent. Or really, this candy bar is a half a cent, is what you're telling somebody. Because this is, if you think about taking 1 penny, splitting it up into 100 parts and having 50 of them, that's what this says. So you're not allowed to mix decimals with cents. You could write it as this. This is fine, because that means you have 50 pennies. This means you have 0.5 of a penny or half a penny. If you're going to use the decimal point, you have to write it like this. It's 0.50 of a dollar. It's a half of a dollar, not half of a cent. So you can't mix. You have to pick one of these two. You either pick writing it in decimal form and using the dollar sign, or writing it in cent form and using the cent sign. And we don't, if you're picking this one, never ever ever do you write this. That cost me 138 cents. Okay, if it's over 99 cents, you need to write it in dollar form and say, okay, that's $1.38. Just a little point to ponder. So if you ever go into a store and somebody has something marked like that, well, what you do is, because each candy bar costs a half a cent, you buy 2 of them and give the guy a penny and say, here you go. And then he says, no, you owe me $1. You say, no, the sign says it's a half a cent per candy bar. So here, I want 2 of them because I don't have a half a cent, and here's my penny. See what he said.
Every time I go to Target in the line, I'm just gonna have to look at every price tag and be like, okay.
So here, the book is going to ask you this. Let's see if you can do this. Write with 3 decimal places. Let me see if I can do this. What if I gave you this? 6, 3.4, and 3.600. Write each one of these with 3 decimal places. What would you do? How do I write the number 6 with 3 decimal places? Jill? 0.06. 6 is not the same thing as 600s. 0.6. That is 6/10. I need what 3 decimal places means there has to be 3 digits after the decimal. After the decimal, there has to be 3 digits. It doesn't matter what they are. Well, there have to be 3. Jaden?
6.000.
Correct. 6.000. You have to have 3 decimal places there. And these two would be the same thing. How about 3.4 with 3 decimal places? How would you write 3.4 with 3 decimal places? Isabel?
3.400.
Correct. 3.400, because you're always allowed to add zeros after the digits that are there. It won't change it. It just makes it a little goofy to say. And how about this one? 3.6000. How would you write that with 3 decimal places? Elijah?
3.6000.
Right, 3.600. And you can always remove or add zeros. But again, when it says 3 decimal places, that means after the decimal there needs to be 3 digits. And that's pretty much sums it up. The other thing they might ask you is to say, write the money amount in 2 different forms. How would you write 2 cents 2 different ways, 2 acceptable different ways? If you wanted to charge 2 cents for something and you were making the sign, 2 different ways you could write it would be, Lance, what do you think? How can I write 2 cents 2 different ways? I already wrote it out. You can't use words. 2 and then a cent sign is one way, and the other way is, no, 0.2 would actually be 20 cents. 2.0 would be $2. Whoops, where'd that go? Sorry. We've got 2 cents. How do I write 2 cents in decimal form and dollar form? Keith?
0.02.
Yeah, you can't write it there with a dollar sign. You have to have a dollar sign in front of it. 0.02. This is 2 cents, and whatever it was, this is 2 cents. When you open your own store, you need to know that. Perfect. All right. We are on our quest for 100.